Let's go.
Oh shit. Trying to fix my hair up. Anyways, yo, what is going on, guys? It's me, the Ninja Reviewer here. Welcome to my review of Dragon Ball Super! Episode number 58. Excuse me. Episode number 58. This episode of Dragon Ball Super is very simple, and to be honest with you, we did not... It's very interesting. However, if you're looking for a hardcore fighting action, you're not going to get in this episode. Although, we did learn some very important stuff that could be possibility theories that Whis was actually throwing about that could actually make sense. But again, judging from the preview for the next episode, we still need to see more proof on what is going to happen with Zamasu, if he really is, quote-unquote, really that evil, and he really did kill off Garamasu and actually able to actually create Goku Black. So, without further ado, we'll get started with the episode review. So, basically, where we left off last time, we see that Zamasu was actually Zeno, which I do remember his name now, Zeno. Unlike last time, I came prepared. Zeno actually was frightened because while he was answering the questions, when it comes to Zeno's limit of questions, I just realized that basically when it comes to that, he can only answer certain questions at a time. That's just the way it works. But, you know, Zeno should know his fucking role. You're talking to a Supreme Kai over here, sir. You really think he's gonna have time for that shit? Hell the fuck no. He's basically saying, yo, I am a Supreme Kai. I am like a god. I'm a godlike being, man. You better fucking tell me where the hell those Super Dragon Balls are. And we see Zeno is shaken up. He's like, well, okay, I'll tell you about it. You have to talk to it in the god language, and yada yada yada, just like we knew about when it came to the Universe 6 tournament, where basically you have to speak it in the god language, and unfortunately it has to be a whole year you have to wait. But of course, Zamasu can easily skip a year because obviously the time rings. That's what Beerus mentioned before about the time ring, was able for him to skip a year and to gain the powers of the Super Dragon Balls in order to actually maybe create a copied version of Goku, but more sinister and evil. And pretty much what happens is that those are going to be the two dynamic duels, I like to call them, which are the best dynamic duel, because if we saw, last week, man, yo, that fight was lit. That fight was so lit, man, and it was so awesome, that fight. It was one of the best fights I've seen in Dragon Ball Super thus far, especially because you got Naotoshi and the boys, you know, doing, like, the fight. It was actually very nice. But here, you know, we just basically got some pretty good animation for the most part. It was just that not really too much shit was going down in this episode, but we did get some revelations on what could possibly happen. And it's kind of weird how, like, the show kind of tries to theorize it itself, that Zamasu really is planning on an attack and assault on Gowasu, and because of that, he will become an evil deity, and he will actually make the actual Black, you know, Goku Black. So that is something we don't truly know. Again, the end of the episode sort of left us at a bit of a cliffhanger when it came to that. We saw Zamasu, you know, passing down, you know, with the tea and shit. We basically saw that there's something really fishy going on, especially because not only was he asking about the Super Dragon Balls, but he was asking about Son Goku in general. So until proof, they're going to, I guess, keep an eye out for them, because in the preview it looks like they're sort of like keeping an eye out to see what's going on. And judging from the tea dropping and shit, and Zamasu with the blades, oh yeah, something is really going down. I do think that Zamasu must have been... It's a possibility he could have been killed off, and maybe that's why, you know, it looks like he's trying to... It's either that, or he didn't even have to stab him or kill him or even lift a finger. Hell, he probably just could have, like, fucking poisoned his tea, for all we know. I mean, that's pretty much, like, the easy way out, I guess, right? So, maybe it's that. But anyways, it's pretty much what the episode is really about. We did actually... Well, actually, correction. We did get a glimpse way into the future. Like, meanwhile, what's happening there... And apparently, you know, everybody's still okay. Maya's still doing great. We see her pretty much. It was also pretty funny is that Yajirobe was like slowing her down. He's like, come on, man, let's go. He's like, I know. I don't want to be grabbing the girl's butt. Like, honestly, what? You don't have to grab on her ass. But I guess, you know, if you have no choice to get on the back of the bike, you know, hey, what do you got to lose? So Maya just had no patience. You know, Maya's like, ain't nobody got time for that. So she was like, fuck it. She just went around with her bike and just picked up Yajirobe. You know, funny stuff like that was actually, you know, pretty damn funny. And then we also see Yajirobe get stuck in one of those fucking, like, boot things or whatever. And she was like, honestly. And he fucking drags Yajirobe out, which I thought was actually pretty goddamn funny. So yeah, there were some bits of funny moments here and there. And the other funny moment I liked is where Goku wakes up and then Bulma tells him that, you know, about what happened to the senso beans, you know. He was like, you know, I was looking all over for these senso beans, and then all of a sudden you act like nothing happened, or you just like automatically forgot, which, you know, I don't even know how that's possible. He's like, oh yeah, like where were they? And she was like, they were in the bathroom. How the hell did the senso beans end up in the bathroom? And he's like, well, I guess I must have been doing my business and I must have left it there. Like, Goku's just being a fucking idiot like always, but that's our Goku. So basically, Trunks actually tells, you know, the younger mind that everything is okay. You know, the future, the actual future Mai is okay. She's doing fine. You know, everything, you know, is in tip-top shape. Then the other thing about the episode is that they want to make Goku black. And no, I don't mean that in a racial term, but, you know, I know that joke is getting a bit relevant. It's getting a bit old when it comes to Goku Black or Black Goku. We know the joke's getting a bit old, but, you know, it sounds so funny the way he says it's like, Goku, you can't just become black. You gotta be born black. Was that racist? I think that was a bit racist. I apologize for that. So anyways, oh boy, why am I laughing at that? Anyways, but it's just the way the translators go. I mean, was Pretty Please really part of that, speaking on the translation, or was it Pretty Please? Because if it was if it really is Pretty Please, let me know about that in the comments, because that's a weird translation. Like, don't they mean Pretty Please? That's kind of weird. Again, man, this is why I wish we get official translations of this shit. Like, Funimation, step up your fucking game. Can we get this English dubbed, please? Because we've been waiting patiently. All the fans have been waiting patiently for over a year. And not even a word. Hell, you can get it on Crunchyroll. I don't care. Just give me some official damn subs so I can read the proper text instead of just some dudes getting fan subs, which I haven't used fan subs in freaking years, man. Like, oh my god. Because now we got like Crunchyroll and streaming sites where we got official translations. And it's just, I don't know. It's just every time I see these, it's like and sometimes it was out of sync at a couple of points where ZAMASU was talking to the Super Dragon and shit. Yeah, that was a bit out of sync. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know if it was you guys, but it was what my episode was doing that. I don't know. It's very weird, and again, one of these days, we need an official license for this series. Because honestly, watching this shit and like fucking unofficial subs, I remember the days, man, and oh man. If we were unofficial subs, shit, give us Date Bayo, man. Date Bayo was a great sub translation. Are you kidding me? They were an awesome fan translations, man. But again, they're out of business now, which kind of sucks. But anyways, moving on from that though. Finally though, we do get to see at the end of the episode, we see that Goku and the Supreme Kai and Beerus and Whis, they arrive at ZAMASU'S planet Universe 10, and they're talking to Gowasu about what is his instinct on justice, because it seems like he's a bit more obsessed on that subject, and he explains to him that all these questions are already answered for him, but it's still sort of some doubts within him. And apparently at the end, like I mentioned, the cliffhanger, we see him with the tea and whatnot, giving some kind of evil-ish grin, kind of, or just some kind of sneaky grin or whatever. Other than that, though, what I think of the episode overall, very interesting indeed. There are very interesting theories on what they were actually passing about. And leaving it with that, wow, I guess you could say, it was okay. It was an okay episode, I guess. Sad to say, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It was just okay at best, but that's pretty much all we got. And it was interesting. It actually really was. to actually know like all these theories and the mystery and all that stuff. So basically a simple, okay episode this week. Nothing really too spraganza or anything epic or awesome like we usually get with some of the fights in Super and stuff. And I'm sorry to say this, the bearer of bad news, guys. There will be no new episode of Dragon Ball Super next week. It was some... And the reasoning is just, I don't know why, but it says like something about time slot changes, which is weird. So does that mean that Dragon Ball Super is going to become second and One Piece is going to be first to air? Which I'm assuming that's what it means, I think. I don't really know because when I read on Crunchyroll, because One Piece was the same thing when I watched it, it says something about that it's not going to air next week, but it will be the following week due to time changes. So I'm assuming that means it's going to be a time slot change between the two shows back to back, which kind of makes sense, I guess, in a way. So again, the episode just gets about a 3 out of 5. Nothing to get me like all like, you know, excitedly hyped, because again, it was just okay, really. We didn't really, you know what I mean? It was basically just like exposition and stuff like that. Basically, it was okay because we got exposition of stuff that could be possible within the future of this actual series. So yeah, there is a lot of exposition in this episode. So I'll warn you right now, there's a lot of exposition in the episode, but we are getting into some leeways, so you know, we did get some explanation, some stuff that could be read. So that's why I'm only giving it a 3 out of 5 rating. Just an okay plus episode. Really, and that's about it. The next episode, though, looks pretty intense, though, because we will actually get to see if it's a possibility if Zamasu really did do the actual deed and actually killed off Garasu. So, yeah. And if that's the case, there'll be no more GodTube. GodTube will be hashtag GodTube, it's over for GodTube party or something. But anyways, I'm done. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below this episode of Dragon Ball Super. And I will see you guys not next week, sadly, which is going to hurt my Sundays. Next Sunday's gonna suck. There's no new episodes of that or One Piece next weekend. So the only thing I just got is just fucking JoJo and My Little Pony, and that's sadly it. Wow, that's sadly it. But of course, I got the usual manga stuff, like Toriko Greatness. I have that this week, and I got the One Piece manga is coming back this week, so at least I have that to look forward to, I guess. Pretty much, yeah, and that's really it. So let me know your thoughts again. I'll see you guys in the next couple weeks for Dragon Ball Super episode 59. Ninja Reviewer signing out. Peace, soul, love, chicken grease, and the sky is the limit. And my manga fans, keep supporting what you read and what you watch. And that's basically it. So, yeah. Bye-bye. See you guys in a couple weeks.